That's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look what happened.
I've been thoroughly briefed by all the agencies in the federal government as to the situation, based on what we know now. I have tried to get a hold of Donald. He's with his doctors. Apparently he's doing well. I plan on talking to them shortly, I hope, when I get back to the telephone. Look, there's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this.
Islam, Islam, Islam. Brother Maurice Pennington Bay, the Sheikh is Crystal Glover, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's Moorish master students, Sheikh is. Now I don't believe in those spookisms. I ain't here to propagate no conspiracy theories. But if there has ever been anything strange, and I'm listening to the news today, right? I was listening to the news on NPR News. They say that Donald Trump had made a request to have some extra Secret Service agents, right? But then, he was denied. Then all of a sudden, he get grazed in the ear. I mean, you get grazed in the ear 2.5 inches, and we don't got to deal with Buddy no more. I mean, that's what you think about this?
Man, look, like I said, I had got the call yesterday as soon as it happened. Shout out to the research ninja. She called me and was like, "Girl, they just shot Donald Trump." I said, I know you lying." She said, "Yeah." She said, what you doing?" I said, "I was about to go live." She was like, "Well, live stream that." And so, yeah, I'm just like, like I was telling my god brother Miguel Bay yesterday, I went to see Obama twice when he was first running. And that was down at the First Mariner Arena in Baltimore. And then it was at the Verizon Center in Baltimore. And no.
It ain't going down.
No.
It ain't going down.
Not at all. It's not.
No. But you know something though, Sheik, is now we got to understand who and what we deal with, because there's a segment of the United States population that they don't just see, President Donald Trump, ex-President Donald Trump, as their leader, as president. He is actually their Messiah, the QAnon, he is, Q to them. He's like either God or God's son, like Jesus. So this whole living martyrdom that just manifested because of what occurred yesterday is going to be hell to deal with, And, I believe that it sets a precedent for, enhanced amount of security. It sets a precedent for, having Secret Service agents and other police and agencies to just, grab a person just because they might be near to the president or might be considered as a threat to the president, or even somebody who's running for president, and they could just do whatever. It just sets the stage for what I believe is going to be more confusion, more disunity, and just a whole lot of mess, going forward into the future.
Well, when you really look at it, like I was telling everybody before, they was real upset about him not getting prison time. I'm like, are y'all for real? The Secret Service is not about to be in the Federal Bureau of Prisons with Donald. Stop it. It's never happening.
Nah, it ain't going to happen, and just thinking about that, what Joe Biden had to say, talking about, now, this is why we have to unite the country. And I'm saying, if y'all want to unite the country, both of you two old jokers need to get the freak up out the way.
Exactly.
Because it's kind of like what we go through in the Moorish Science Temple of America right now, sadly, but it's the perpetuation and the propagation of an ancient hatred. This hatred between the blue and the red, it's like the same thing with the Crips and the Bloods. You see the Republicans and the Democrats, they just acting like Crips and Bloods and worse. I mean, look at this young person. I mean, 20 years old.
Yep.
You willing to throw your life in the can? For what? You 20 years old. See, you and I have been around long enough to know no matter how much that we can't stand these presidents, and yes, indeed, they do set the country back, a lot in a way, but life goes on. Life goes on. This is a 20-year-old young person who's fixing to get ready to spend the remainder of his days behind bars for what?
That's right.
For
That's
what?
right.
This is a colossal loss of life, and then to have that idea, the idea that, hey, you know what? I don't like what this particular politician is doing. I don't like what they're saying, to feel the need to say, I'm going to have to go and kill them. That's sad. It speaks to the people in this country whose job it is to make the election something that's fair. And when I say something that's fair, mean that we need better candidates. We need candidates that give the citizens a fair chance to go to sleep at night and not to have our young people waking up feeling like they could throw their life in the can to try to kill somebody who ain't even worth the bullet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't even think a lot of people realize that, what he did yesterday when he was, a lot of our people was just like, oh man, he throwing up the fist. That's power to the people. But I don't think people really realize what happened yesterday when he threw up that fist. The fist is the representation of several international unions,
Yes.
labor unions.
Yes.
And for some, our people be sleep. We be sleep.
That's right. That was the ultimate call to action right there. And
Right.
that's where you say, the Quran when it says what reproach of reason more than contraries. So you do something and you get a result that you're not looking for. I mean, I'm gonna keep it 100. I think we had a conversation yesterday too. I can't foresee any kind of way that this sleepy Joe Biden guy, and yes, I called him Sleepy Joe Biden. All right. I can't see Sleepy Joe Biden winning in the first place. You understand what I'm saying? But now he does not stand a chance. Not only does he not stand a chance, but I personally believe that Donald Trump has been so empowered now by just the whole ordeal in the court system. This now we come with this shooting. I mean, he has just been empowered. He has been given, basically the okay to just do whatever it is that he want to do. He can just do whatever it is that he want to do. And hey, what's next? I mean, for real, it's a mad human drama. I don't know if we might consider ourselves lucky to be here to experience it and to be here to be able to watch it. It just means that the Moorish Americans, our job, when it comes to nation building, because the Prophet Noble Drew Ali said that ours is a wheel inside of a wheel turning. So even though loyalty to government is absolutely one of the fundamental principles of the Moorish Science Temple of America and its members, we have to build up and do for self. We really have to do for self. We should not be relying upon anybody else to do anything for us in the first place. But if this is not, galvanizing, sheiks and other heads of temples to say, you know what, we need to really take control of the situation for the good of our own people and our purpose, then I don't know what else would.
That's right. That's right. Going back to, I hear a lot of times on different platforms, uh, we tend to put down a lot of our elders who have paved the way for us because I'm gonna keep it a buck. The newer generation, like the baby boomers, they just settled. They stopped the progression for the larger part in industry. And there's been several industries that they have been prominent in, which is the acting and the music industry. But
That's
when
right.
you look overall in other industries, they just lack, you
Yeah.
know. And so a lot of times on these panels, you'll hear people talk about the different lodges, and you'll hear them talk about the fraternities and the sororities. But in my research, a lot of people, we got to keep it a buck, and we got to stop downing our ancestors, because these lodges that they were a part of was lodges that they created,
That's right.
because it was our version of unionizing without being scrutinized
Mm.
under the eye view and the thumb of the government. And I think it was an ingenious idea for them to be able to say, hey, look, you know what, we can have our own fraternal society that we create, and we don't have to necessarily follow those rules that you have to follow when you are unionized, because when you're unionized, you're federalized.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they took them out of their business, and they still was able to continue on with business. So we had banks, and we had schools, and we had hospitals, right? We even had portions of the majority of the portions of the railroad still at
That's
that time. Even some of our grandparents and great grandparents, if they're still alive, they're still getting railroad benefits. So,
mm.
when I think about what we say a lot of times today, it's out of ignorance. And I watch us, a lot of us, we be reading books verbatim, and talking about this person came from a lodge, and this person started lodge, well, not started lodge, but they was a part of the lodge. Like if they was a part of the lodge, that has a charter from England. No, a lot of these lodges we created post what they consider to be 1865 Civil War, and it was a way for us to be able to protect ourselves and our community.
That's right. And you know what? You know that what you just that topic that you just brought up, it's something else that I see within the more like now that I'm out and I be talking to different members and potential members of one of the things that a lot of people bring up is they say that well the Moorish Science of America is a 501c3 corporation, and I tell them absolutely not. The Moorish Science Temple of America is not a 501c3 corporation. The Moorish Science Temple of America is not a corporation at all. The Moorish Science Temple of America is not even a place. Okay, the Moorish Science Temple of America, which the Quran calls the temple of purity. It says that those who thus are cleansed comprise the temple of purity. So the Moorish Science Temple of America is its members. Okay,
That's
now on
right.
the back of our authority, it says that the Moorish Science Temple of America adopted as its corporate name, the Moorish Science Temple of America. So don't think that, the Moorish Science Temple of America owning a corporation is a bad thing. Owning a corporation, it grants us a whole lot of opportunities. It grants us, the ability to interact with other corporations on the corporate level, on the commercial level. And that's important because, like the prophet always emphasized, it takes finances to uplift the nation. The corporation gives the entire group the ability to establish trust as one person. All right. So now we all, as one, as acting as one person, we get to create a one credit as a body for the entity, the corporation. That's not a bad thing. But the people who like to, use this to their own personal benefit, they also want to make you believe that it's not beneficial for you. They want to distract you from doing what's good and what's beneficial for you. And we see the same thing in what you're speaking about when one started talking about the lodges and the way our ancestors was able to lift up the families and put the families together us on the road to nationhood. The Prophet Noble Ali came and said that I'm taking the veil off all secret organizations. In our Quran, we see the Prophet Jesus demonstrate a similar measure when he went to the Delphian Grove. For years, those Europeans in the Delphian Grove had been practicing a certain way, and it had been beneficial to them until the time came for change and for them to take the next step. Well, now, like you said, today we don't see the Moors or the Asiatics in North America taking the next step. We see them going backwards. It's like we moving backwards into the dark ages instead of moving forward. And it's all mentally because we don't want to accept our own. We don't want to do the things that's beneficial for us. We allow it for people who want us to stay stuck and to stay stagnant, to teach us to stay stuck and to stay stagnant. So yeah, I absolutely agree with you. The only thing, and I must say this, the only thing that is troubling to me is that the Asiatics in America are not, coming into their own and still, accepting the European teachings and philosophies.
Indeed. Yeah, I would say that as well. One of the things that I notice a lot with our people, we tend to be stagnant until it's messy and it's some drama behind it. I don't know what it is about us, but like we love drama and we love mess because as soon as Trump got grazed yesterday, like you said, it was the people that went to sleep on Friday night and was like, man, I hate Trump, I can't stand him. As soon as he got grazed, now it's like, oh man, that's the homie right there, that's the G right there. But I knew they had to do something desperate in order to secure our vote. And when I say our vote, I'm talking about us as quote unquote black people, because that's what they call it, the black vote, right? And we just had several things that happened back to back to back that started to make him dwindle down in the thoughts and the minds of the quote unquote black vote. And so you had the BET Awards, and the BET Awards talked about Agenda 2025. And so that didn't go well in his favor. Then right after that, you had the AKAs, which is the sorority. They had Kamala there, and they was screaming 4 more years. Now, one thing about it is they already know anytime you get a group of our women behind you, you're going to win. We going to push you to the top. You're going to win, period. Whatever it is, like if we say no, it's not going to happen for you. If we say yeah as a collective, it's definitely going to happen for you. And so as that was going on and they saw how many, they know, oh shoot, the Divine Nine is completely back in Kamala. So if they back in Kamala, they, Biden comes with it.
Right.
They saw that the entertainment industry was back in Biden. So yeah, they had to really do something to put him back into a good light. And what else are you going to do other than cause some drama?
And that's sad because you just pointed out that he had to do something to get our attention. Let's look at some of the things that presidents done did to so-called secure the so-called black vote, right? Bill Clinton smoked weed.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Bill Clinton committed adultery in the White House.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Donald Trump gets convicted of 34 felonies.
Come on now.
34 now. Now
He
they
had-
say that the brother Pennington Bay is a habitual criminal. I don't got 34 felonies, nothing like that. You understand me? This man record way worse than mine. He's way more streeter dude than I am, right? So we're gonna throw that out there. And then he go and he gets shot. These are the things that attract the attention and the enthusiasm of the Asiatic people. That is sad.
That's right.
That is sad. When the Prophet Noble Ali said that the Asiatics of America need to learn to love instead of hate, we see it in how other people market to us.
Mm-hmm.
They market to us with blood. They
That's
market to us with lust. They market to us with, mind-altering substances. They don't market to us with anything that's nourishing or beneficial to the human state, period. Period. That's not how they get our attention. You understand me? When they want to get the attention of other groups, they put little children in front of them who need medical attention, and these people come out their pocket and contribute to these little children getting the medical attention that they need. They put homeless people, they show natural disasters that's happening in other countries, and people contribute to that. But we won't contribute to that. We won't contribute to that. And they know it. They know it. It speaks to a truth, for one, because it's working for them. And then it also speaks to what they think about us, you know, that they market to us using blood or lust or mind-altering substances. This is how they get our attention. That's sad, man. That's
All
sad.
lower self vibrations, and it is sad. You know, shout out to my brother Roy Bay, who said something to me a few years ago. He said, you know, Sheikahs, they have a study for everything. So even when we don't think that they are studying us, they even have a study to study the ants. So you know they have a study on all of our interactions and reactions. They know that we react to drama. So yeah, I mean, he already had with the 34 convictions, right? They got to bring them down to a level that we're used to. We're used to a lot of our fathers and uncles and grandfathers and cousins going to prison. So we're used to that, right? So he already got the the vote for majority of the brothers. Now he had to get the sisters on board, and in order to get the sisters on board, you got to show that you are quote unquote a real target. So now sisters are talking like, oh my goodness, girl, did you see that? They ain't trying to kill him for no reason. You know how we talk. But I mean, again, I've been to two visits when Obama came, and this was the first time that he was running, not the second time. So he didn't even have as much Secret Service security that he had the second time go around, right? The first time that he had it, and there's no way. There is no way.
Hey, you know, I'm from 51st and St. Laurent. So Obama was staying right there in the street at Hyde Park. Now,
Right.
I'm in a joint. I'm so happy when Obama win. It's funny now. It's funny now, right? I'm gonna tell you what. Me and Marcelli at the time, we was on lockdown. So they had the TVs off because we was on lockdown. So they turned the TVs on just so we could watch the election. So we sitting there watching all of the different states and everything. So this was my first joint, the Moore Science Temple of America. So me and Marcelli sitting in the cell, we drinking. We got like 2 gallons of wine. we got a couple caps of weed. So we smoking the weed, we drinking the wine, and we watching TV. Marcelli got life. I got this 24-year sentence. So we sitting there, and both of us, boy, we hoping like a mother. Boy, if Obama win, we getting out. We sitting in here, we got this old crack case, man. If Obama win, we getting out. Obama win, we started crying. We said tears. I got a letter. You know, I want my mama to go take this letter and go drop it off and give it to Obama. We're going to make sure we get Obama to come give me a pardon, right? So I sent the letter to my mama. My mama was staying on 49th and St. Lawrence at the time. My mama went to walk down there to drop that letter off. My mama came back and said, you can't get nowhere near that house. You can't get nowhere near. The people who lived right there, they had to go through so much to get in and out of their crib. You can't get nowhere near there. We watching TV. I'm watching TV, and I see Obama and his family down by Buckingham Fountain, and I'm watching TV like, yeah, Obama's just out there. They talk about something. I don't kill him. He out there at the crib at Buckingham Fountain down by the lakefront. Come to find out, they got a whole bulletproof wall, a see-through bulletproof wall around the stage. And you mean to tell me that somebody done let off a shot at a Donald Trump rally? There's only 2 things. You either love him or you hate him. So you tell They didn't have no security out there to stop a joker from letting off a shot. Now, I don't propagate no conspiracies, but like I say, if there has ever been anything strange, this just seems strange to me. What you think, Hamilton?
I was talking to my wife about that.
Huh?
I was talking to my wife about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because on one hand, I seen some posts on social media. I don't know if it's real or not, but apparently the bullets were real big.
Uh-huh.
And if they are that size, it did way more damage. And if they they're shooting at him at a trajectory like minus what 20, 45 degrees maybe.
Mhm.
Why did nobody get hit? It was a bunch of shots. So I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but something doesn't add up.
Yeah, it to me it just speaks to history. You know, history has taught us that these type of incidents have been staged numerous times. You know, so the ramifications of what will come from this and what we're gonna have to deal with moving forward. I was already totally convinced. And because you could tell me if you see this, if you foresee this the way I do. I'm looking at the United States of America going forward, and I'm saying it seems like to me that every election time, when it comes time to elect a president, we are going to get a president from the opposite party moving forward for decades to come, because the partisanship has gotten that bad. You know, everything that goes wrong in the United States of America, it will always be blamed on the party in power. It's not the individuals, the party. We're not looking at these people who have jobs and responsibilities in government as individuals with jobs and responsibilities. We're now looking at the entire party, not even comprehend that the government is meant to be working together. So we could handicap the government just by refusing to work. Mm-hmm. And knowing that that they're not going to blame us because we're not the party in power. We're not the party in power, okay? We're Democrats right now and the Republicans are in power. We're Republicans and the Democrats are in power. So all we got to do is sit on our hands, and for the next election cycle, we'll have a wave. We'll win. You know, and then comes the strategy. Doing your job is no longer the strategy. You know, so that's how I see it.
Yeah, I look at it like we as so-called Black people, we need to decide who it is that we're going to have to endorse our endeavors in Congress at the end of the day. Right. We're supposed to have a representative, even when if you're talking about from the aspect of Indians not taxed or enumerated, if you're talking about it from the aspect of us being Moorish Americans or modern day Moroccans born in America, however you want to slice it, we're supposed to have a representative in Congress. Shout out and honors to Prophet Noble Drew Ali, who did that. He and the Moors with him, along with the South Side of Chicago, made it happen for Oscar DePriest. And right. Oscar DePriest was there. He sat in the appropriate committees. He was a part of the Indian Affairs. He was a part of the Invalid and Pensions Committee. He was a part of the Railroad and the Postal Road Committee. I mean, he did what he was supposed to do. It's just that instead of us making sure, and he was set on the committee for enrolled bills. So all we had to do was tell him what bills we wanted to get passed. But we slept on it. And so nothing happened for us. And again, we was too busy with the self-hate, killing each other, fighting each other, seeing who is the best mouthpiece for this, that, and the other, when all we had to do was utilize Oscar DePriest and do what he was supposed to do on our behalf. I remember pulling up, I found a article in Time magazine where it said that the Blackamoors voted Oscar DePriest and got him in to Congress.
The Blackamoors.
They called Oscar DePriest his people his constituents who got him into Congress was his black amours. So yeah, we need to galvanize around that idea. I think a lot of the other stuff, as far as like when you talk about topics like reparations is not going to happen. Slavery was legal. Those slave owners did have bills of sales with receipts, so that was a legal trade. At the end of the day, that was a legal trade. But what we do need to talk about is redress and grievance, because these foreigners have been on our lands and they have not paid us restitution as they have promised in many of the treaties. And so that's what they need to be paying us for. We need to get redress and grievance along with all the other different things such as redlining and the lies that we've learned through the Department of Education, changing the history and so on and so forth.
That's right. Okay, so Donald Trump, I mean not Donald Trump, Joe Biden, the whole Democratic Party, they ran in 2020, on the notion of, hey, we're going to give the so-called Negro, blacks, colored people who are truly the original people, the Asiatic people, the children of the Most High God. They say we're going to give you what you got coming. So here it is. We got so many of our brothers and sisters sitting inside of these federal prisons doing time for these archaic crack charges where they was giving out football numbers, and a bill called the Equal Act. It was actually written by Cory Booker and a group of other congresswomen. And when they first came with the bill, they were saying, well, we don't have enough Republican senators to sign off on the bill. They need at least 60 members of the Senate in order to pass a bill to beat the filibuster, which is unconstitutional. I'm gonna tell y'all why the filibuster is absolutely and utterly unconstitutional, period, whatsoever. There's no element of right in the idea of the filibuster, the way it's actually used in the Senate today. But I'm gonna tell y'all about this bill that has just been sitting there so far. So they promised that they would pass this bill and get this bill passed. So now the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee is Senator Dick Durbin from right here in Chicago. Senator Dick Durbin is the Senate whip, which means he is the individual who counts all of the votes before a bill is even brought to the floor. So he knows if whether or not they have the votes to actually pass a bill before it's even brought to the floor. Okay, now this guy's from right here in Chicago, Senator Dick Durbin. Okay, so you had like 12, y'all go look this up. You had like 12 or 13 Republican senators say, hey, you know what? We're ready to sign the bill. Bring the Equal Act. We're ready to sign it. We're ready to do away with the crack disparity once and for all. We're ready to free all of these men and women who have been serving time since the 80s for a substance that is actually inferior to the powder cocaine, where you get the least amount of time. Why didn't Dick Durbin bring this bill to the floor? Why didn't Chuck Schumer and Dick Durbin pass this bill? Why didn't Joe Biden scream from the top of the mountaintops for them to pass this doggone bill? Because you promised the Asiatics that you was going to do it. You promised them. And so many of our mothers and our sisters and our brothers and our nieces and nephews and little cousins and friends and people in our community went to the poll just because they thought that you was going to finally send us home. Not only did the Congress and the Senate not pass the bill, but the president didn't even use his authority to partner to compute the censuses that he admitted countless times were unjust. So here it is, these people done swindled the Asiatics again after they vote. They cast a spell. This political witchcraft is real. They done cast a spell on the people, got the people to get to the poll, get them elected, and then said, bump you in your face. Bump you in your face. Okay. Now, here's the issue. I just heard the brother tell me this just yesterday. Man, Donald Trump, the only one who got me 97 months off of my sentence, he let me out. I said, what he did? He gave you a pardon? Were you one of the few? This man gave out the least amount of presidential pardons of any president ever in the history of the United States. Were you one of those guys? Because the only people we let out, aside from Kodak Black and Lil Wayne, was a bunch of other political politicians. He used his pardon powers to release a bunch of dirty politicians. Was you one of them? No, but the First Step Act was inevitable. Presidents don't create bills. Congress do. And we've been letting them get away. We've been letting these doggone senators and these congressmen and women get away. Let me tell y'all something. When the United States of America first sought to establish a Congress, it was a unilateral Congress. It was just going to be a Senate. But they did not want to create another group of aristocrats like they had in Britain, people who were just lord over them. So they said somebody has to represent the little people. So they created the representatives. These individuals were supposed to represent the little people, which in the time they did, because they were just farmers and sharecroppers and people that was of the lower financial economic class. Well, now they get paid too doggone much. They all ain't nothing but a bunch of aristocrats. Every last one of them. It done got so bad, the majority of these jokers don't know nothing about the law. How in the freaking world is you a legislator? You don't know nothing about the law. Let me tell y'all why the filibuster is unconstitutional. For one, because the United States Constitution already has a filibuster. There's already a filibuster. When a bill is presented, if the bill is presented by the House of Representatives first, it has to pass through the House of Representatives by a majority vote. Then it goes from the House of Representatives to the Senate, where it must then be passed by the Senate by a majority vote. Then it goes from the Senate to the President of the United States of America, where it then must be signed into law. If the President of the United States of America veto the bill goes back to the House where it was started. Now, the Congress can then pass the bill without the president's signature if 75% of the Congress vote to have the bill passed. Not 75% of the House of Representatives or 75% of the Senate, but 75% of the Congress as a totality. That is a filibuster. That is the filibuster that was written into the United States Constitution. So this thing that they done created in the Senate is crippling the Congress and is costing the American citizens so much because these jokers just out of spite and out of hatred for each other, out of hatred of the color that they see on the other side of the aisle, if it's red or if it's blue, they just sit on their hands. It does not matter if whether or not the said bill will benefit the United States citizen, the average person. It doesn't matter. Don't mean nothing. And somewhere unconstitutionally, they have been allowed to continue this practice for far too long, and it's getting out of hand. It's getting so far out of hand that the United States Constitution itself is so outdated. The language of it is so old that they just reinterpret it every other week. Every other week. Listen, tomorrow is Monday. Federal courts will be open on Monday and cases will be heard all across the United States of America. And I guarantee you that at least 12 to 13 federal judges will interpret the same amendment of the United States of the Constitution differently. They will all interpret it differently. And people will be sitting in rooms suffering consequences of a person's interpretation that might be based upon all types of prejudice, all types of biases, all types of beliefs, gnosis, and ignorance. Not to mention the political, impact that causes them to make some of the decisions that they make. You know, it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. When the Constitution was written, they wrote every single solitary part of the Constitution with a specific intent. The Constitution of the Divine Constitution of the Moorish Science Temple of America. It starts off, it says that the Grand Sheik and the chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body Science Temple of America. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali, in that one statement right there, in that one statement, he protected the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America going forth into forever, from ever having to suffer what the United States citizens is suffering right now because of the vagueness of the United States Constitution. When the Prophet said that the Grand Sheik and the chairman is empowered to make law and enforce laws, and he gave no member, he gave no matter what, no member of the Moorish Science Temple of America will ever have power to change the law. No member of the Moorish Science Temple of America will ever have power to change any sentence of the Divine Constitution and bylaws of the Moorish Science Temple of America or the additional laws. Nobody has that authority. Nobody. Nobody has the authority to reinterpret it. Nobody. And anytime somebody tries to do that, we know exactly what they are. They are enemies to the cause of uplifting their own people. Enemies to the cause. You know, this whole thing that we are living through right now today, it reminds me of what John spoke about when John called the government of his time tumors on the body of the state, cancer. In Sunday school today, we went over that whole entire chapter, and I pointed something out to the Moors. A cancer is a very stupid disease, all right? The cancer itself is an absolute idiot. And the reason why the cancer is an idiot is because it destroys its host. It destroys its own host. The cancer itself, it kills its own house. It tears its own house up, okay? This is what we're seeing right now from these cancerous politicians. They stupid. They are destroying their own house. That's dumb. That's so dumb. If you would just commit to building up the citizens of the United States of America, it would empower and make the country so much stronger. But guess what? That will require you to think and to care about future generations. But nah. I'm thinking about me right now. Right now. It's my money, I want it now. Ain't that what they say? It's my money, I want it now. You know, that immediate gratification. You know, I want to get paid right now. I want to be on TV right now. I want to be praised right now. I want people to say that they love that speech I gave. Even though I don't turn around later and do any of the things I said I was going to do, I still want them to praise my speech. Even though ChatGPT wrote it. Islam seekers.
Islam, definitely, I agree. You know, just going back to what you were saying, you know, even about these bills, right? So you have these representatives that say they represent you, but you're not getting anything that you want them to actually pass in any bills. Yeah, I think the people have forgotten about the authority and the power that you have given to these individuals. And it really starts locally, right? So when someone is passing a bill on your behalf and you didn't give them authorization to endorse a bill, then that's forgery. I mean, is that not unauthorized authority to endorse a bill? That's forgery. Why are you giving your blanket signature away for something that's not going to better you, your family, your community? You know, so come out. I want every one of you all under the sound of my voice. Make sure you come to convention. The great meeting is on this year. We will be in Peoria, Illinois. You can go to our website, www.mstahohr805.co, click on events and register, because this is what you're going to get. You're going to get a template on how to address these representatives, how to get bills passed that is going to work for you in your behalf. You're going to get templates on how to contract with the government so that they can begin to give you what is supposed to be rightfully yours. Like, we're not supposed to be really W-2 employees working a 9 to 5. We're supposed to be contracting. So, you're going to learn how to properly contract. You're going to learn how to go and find out what it is that your community needs, what your city needs, what your state needs, right? What the national federal government needs. And you're going to be able to go and put in these requests so that you can contract with them. You're going to learn all these things. So make sure you come out, and so you can get these things to help you, your family, and your community, because it starts right there. We got to get out of thinking as the slave. Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, if I can get you to think, then you can save yourself.
Islam, governors, Islam, Islam, Islam. The great meeting is on. It's on in Peoria, Illinois, at the Elks Lodge. We're going to be having a blast. We're going to be giving the people everything that it takes to save a nation. And that's real, everything that it takes to save a nation. All you got to do is just take it and save yourself. Those is the words of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. It's sad, but it's true. A lot of y'all don't even know who the Prophet Ali is. So come out, learn the truth about yourself, learn the truth about the one who came to uplift you, the one who came to teach you that you were home, and that these individuals that's sitting and lording over you right now, that's pushing the buttons and swaying you and changing your mood every day of your life, the ones that think that they're in control over you, they are 3,000 miles away from home, and the Drew said they're going to have to take some water. So yeah, come out. Come to the great meeting is on. It's going to be popping. It's going to be cracking. We hosting it. All the Peoria show up because the Moors is going to show out. With that being the case, Grand Governors, it was awesome and incredible, sitting down talking to you about this mad human drama that they call politics. It was incredible, but it's time for us to, outro. So we're going to say peace and love to everybody. It's over with, y'all. Peace and love.
Peace.